couple of months ago, I got a call from this guy, Sebastian Matthes of Wirtschaftswoche, and he said, "We like what you are doing with Ecosummit. We want to be a media partner," and they have been our most important media partner, Wirtschaftswoche, Germany's leading business weekly. I think a reach of 1 million at least, right? And he's now going to moderate a panel. We are ending this panel. It's very important. It's the Climate-KIC Incubator panel, and he's going to introduce the fellow panelists. Welcome, Sebastian Matthes. He's a section editor for technology at Wirtschaftswoche.
Thank you very much, Jan, for this really friendly introduction. Hi to everybody. And thanks again for the invitation to this great event. I've met so many interesting people and heard so many interesting stories, met so many interesting startups. I'm really glad to be part of it, and I've heard from so many ideas which really will make a difference in the next years. And this is exactly what we will talk about now, about ideas which will make a difference and how we can get more such ideas in the next years, and not only with more money, also with better networks. Networks out of business angels, incubators, and VCs, and I'm really happy to have a great panel here to welcome now. So give a warm welcome to Agnes von Matuschka. She's from the Center for Entrepreneurship. Sorry. Hi.
Hi.
From the Center for Entrepreneurship from the University TU Berlin, and she's not only an expert helping startups on their first steps, also part of the Climate-KIC network, and telling us later what this is all about. Alexander von Frankenberg from the High-Tech Gründerfonds, how important this is, we've heard already. Ingo Potthof from a brand new VC, seed VC from the University TU München, and he's telling us about what he's doing later. Hi. Hello. And last but not least, Maximilian Horster from a startup called Climate-Neutral Investments, and he's helping to calculate the real greenhouse gas emissions of investment portfolios. Hi to all of you. Thanks for coming. So we are going to talk about networks, and that's why we would like to start with you, Agnes. The Climate-KIC network you are part of wants to lead the world toward low-carbon prosperity. That sounds like a big plan, and please tell us how you want to reach that aim.
So the TU Berlin is partner of a big European project launched by the European Institute of Technology. And this European Institute of Technology has, is given money to 3 major projects that are called knowledge and innovation communities in the areas of climate, ICT, and e-mobility. And today I would like to introduce the project Climate. It's a network of leading universities like ETH Zurich, Imperial College, leading research institutes, and cooperates. And they try to develop society further and to open opportunities for business and science. We have 3 pillars: innovation, education, and entrepreneurship. And from all those pillars, at the end, we want to spin out enterprises and create employability.
So what kind of companies are you looking for?
Actually, the goal is really to start with education, to have like summer schools in the climate. Last year we had 50 students from the 5 European partners that go to Paris, 2 weeks to Zurich, 2 weeks to Berlin, and are taught climate topics by the scientific staff, and also are coached during the whole 6 weeks by experienced entrepreneurs. At the end, we hope that there come up international teams that start up businesses. And we already have 3 startups that emerged from last year's summer school, and this year we will have 200 students going on this journey, and we hope hope to have then even more startups
That
created.
sounds great, and we have another startup here who's part of the network as well. And Max, maybe tell us a bit more about how important such networks are for you.
Yeah, maybe to clarify a bit, I'm sitting here today for a company called South Pole Carbon Asset Management, which is invested in my company, so I sit with them. So they are my incubator, and they are part of the Climate-KIC network. So I think what I can speak much better to is
journalists always try to make it short.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, but basically we became an affiliate partner of Climate-KIC, of this network that Agnes just mentioned about a month ago. It was a lengthy process. We came through that via a project. We have been approached by ETH Zurich. So the idea of these Climate-KIC projects is always that you combine scientific research, you combine practitioners to, in the end, come up with a new idea, with an innovation that then is supposed to get scale and, in the end of the day, help the climate. And so we came on board of a project together with Swiss Re and an energy provider in Zurich, and now we are part of this network. And what I find so fascinating about it is that all of a sudden, it's an epiphany for us. We are now part of this network, and we have access to tremendous people, to tremendous companies that we can do projects with, but also access to funding that helps us kick off ideas that we had for a while in the drawer, but couldn't take the entrepreneurial risk to actually advance them. And now we can start those, and we can do those also with other startups. So it's really, it becomes an incubator within the incubator.
Okay. And to make the first steps of startups easier, the same as trying the TU München or their new fund. Ingo, how do you select new startups?
Well, at UnternehmerTUM, we are the center of entrepreneurship and business creation of TU Munich. So we need to differentiate two things, two activities. One stream is the traditional center of innovation, where the people focus on fostering spin-outs out of the university, Technical University of Munich. They have a broad approach on cleantech or resource efficiency, how we call it, medical engineering and IT. They very much select on the potential of the idea and try to foster that. With a seed fund, we are later in the development, so we look at these kind of teams later in their lifetime, and we pretty much have a venture capital approach, assessing these companies, i.e., so the typical stuff which we hear: market size, competitive advantage, good team, and so forth. So we have different approaches to these teams depending on at what stage they are.
Okay, and you got the money from private investors, or where did you get it from?
Yes, the fund, despite we are somewhat under the roof of the Innovation Center and the TU Munich, the fund is private, independent, and financial oriented. We have our money mainly from private investors. And we are responsible towards these private investors, and therefore we need to return nice profits.
And your first investment was what?
We have not closed the first investment. We started last year, second half of last year. We have several companies in advanced pipeline, and will probably close soon investments in technology area with an angle to clean tech as well as in IT.
How many German universities or European universities have such funds?
This model is quite unique, particularly because we have taken the decision to have an entrepreneurship center relating to the university, but have a private investor following with investments in order to complement governmental funding with a private investment view. And so this view is quite unique. Just these days I heard that in Frankfurt School there is an initiative. There are internationally some rather traditional incubator type of entities, but not a model like this.
Yesterday evening, nobody knows here, but I've seen that you two guys were just talking about an investment you might do together. So you don't have to talk about that now, but maybe tell us a bit more how you both try to build a network for young companies, how that works.
I think networking for building these networks is very important because the young company, it has a core technology, a core founder team, and the task is very, very big. There's a huge to-do list, many, many to-dos, and usually too many for the founders. So what helps is building networks like coaches, business angels, who might invest, who might take over some operational tasks. I think that what's very important is a corporate network where small companies can establish relationships, build or sell the first products. And then, of course, an investor network is very important to get follow-on financing after the seed financing has run out.
And how does the High-Tech Gründerfonds find new ventures?
Well, we go out to universities, we talk to professors, we regularly visit or see people like Professor Leo, where we know it's a hotspot for new technology and new companies.
And he's telling you that I have a new company, you should look at it.
Yes,
okay.
we try to establish relationships to like deal flow sources, to transfer agencies where like founders might go. We are engaged in all major business plan competitions as jurors or sponsors. So we try to be have a presence where new deals originate, and then of course teams find us. So in a break today, a team came to me and said they saw I'm here and they just pitched their deal.
You have everything in your portfolio: internet and mobility and green tech. How much green tech do you have overall?
We've made 270 investments in the last 6.5 years,
okay.
And it's about 40 clean tech, green tech companies, so around 15%.
And how many failed in the last years?
We have 30 companies that went bankrupt, so it's around 11%, and we have 15 more that we sold at a very low price, which we don't count as an exit.
Okay. And let's get back to the Climate-KIC network. What parts do you have already? You have some business angels and some incubators, and you're looking for what kind of partners now?
For example, in Berlin, we'll build a green garage that is really a garage building, a former garage building on the EUREF campus, okay. That is in south of Berlin, in Schöneberg. And there we will give the opportunity to 6 startups for around 3 to 6 months to start really their enterprises. They will enter as projects and hopefully after their first start receive new money from exist programs. That's the programs that are run by the Ministry of Economics. We can also give grants to startups that have run through the exist phase and then are looking for financing to close their first round. And I guess our partners for the futures are definitely High-Tech Gründerfonds and the Munich Fund. There's not much around otherwise. Therefore, we are looking for really business angels, family offices that would be interested in investing in clean tech startups in a very early phase.
Okay, and how is it going so far? Do they hear about you, or do you have to be on more sessions like this?
We definitely have to. We have just started. Okay. We are about to build up the ecosystem. We are welcoming everyone who wants to join the climate. And we also have to work harder with the universities to get more projects in clean tech started.
The partners is one side, the other side is the startup. How do I get part of Climate-KIC as a startup?
As a startup, you run through a selection process, and
it's probably really difficult because it's from the EU.
No, it's broken down, so we make it easy for you. Okay. You just have to pitch.
That sounds good.
And you can receive a fund. And after you have been taken into the climate network, you can take part, for example, at master classes. It's 2-day classes that are taught in English. One was last year in Imperial College, taught by Ken Morse on sales. And there, all the European startups of the Climate-KIC will meet, run through this program, and every 3 months we have one of those masterclasses taught by excellent people, and the startups very well networked then during those times.
Okay. Max, when you started your company, what was the most difficult thing, and how could a network help you with that?
I think in the unique situation of climate-neutral investments within South Pole, the network was just there because I became part of this company, which again is a spin-off of ETH. So there is this, almost these rings of networks around that. And being in this South Pole is a developer of emission reduction project, so around this entire carbon trading field, developing carbon credits is a whole circle of companies. So in a way, the network for my company was tremendously important. It is now in a way that I have no overhead because that's all with South Pole. I can focus on my business, but I can see that as an established company in that field with now 100 people, 5 years old, we attract a lot of great ideas from all sides, and being open to that, and being with Climate-KIC, being in the university landscape, this is almost you feel like kind of in the midst of things, and I think the network works both ways. So we benefit from that. We have, for example, the summer school students that Agnes was talking about. They come to us. We use that as a recruiting tool. So we have worked with people from that summer school, but they're also coming people with new ideas to us. That helps us grow our business and helps us remain now innovative in a time where this market is very fast changing, and we have to be remain on top of things.
And this, one second, this idea you told me yesterday evening, very quick, maybe share here.
Sorry, which
the credit card?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I should definitely share that. Yeah, so this is the latest product of our company. I have it in my pocket. It's Switzerland's first climate-neutral credit card. It's everything you buy with this card. You have a carbon footprint calculated on the side. So you receive a statement that tells you about the carbon emissions of all the items in the service you purchased, and rather than getting air miles, everything is made climate neutral. So that would be one of the products that, that is not right in the midst of developing carbon credits, but it's a sales tool for carbon credits, so it's kind of connected to that. And now, with the Climate-KIC network, we have actually quite a few of those ideas that are coming to us now, and that we can start as what's called in Climate-KIC a Pathfinder project, meaning we find a university partner, we find a business partner, we get funding to explore if there is a market for such a product. And that's the great thing about these Pathfinder projects. And then there are innovator projects. That's part of the project that I mentioned with Swiss Re, where we actually look at how employer incentive systems result in a behavioral change of employees in their homes with regard to climate. And that's, again, something that we're doing in this innovator network with other companies in that network. Sorry.
Ingo?
Well, I just want to add, because we're talking about network, and just linking up to the discussion which we had previously in one of the other panels. So what we are really missing, if you look at the startup environment in Germany, we have great ideas and technologies. We have good people, technology-wise. We have good managers, maybe not so many founders. We have, of course, not enough capital, but in the very early stage, in the seeding, it's not that an issue. What we are lacking, this is the startup, the foundation culture, and it's network, but I would say ecosystem. And ecosystem for me is bringing heterogeneous people together, universities, investors, corporates, startup, and so forth. This is what we are lacking compared to Silicon Valley or there are other regions. And only with a culture and this ecosystem you can really build successful companies. And it is a long-term task of innovation centers, universities, to build this. You can inject capital into an economy overnight. It will not help. We will have a bubble. But you need to change the culture and build ecosystems in order to, in the long run, have a solid and healthy environment for successful companies.
I would like to make a statement on that. I do think, especially here in Berlin, this ecosystem is just happening. I think in Berlin what's happening is the self-reinforcing cycle. Founders set up their company, sell the company, go back and either...
For internet.
Not only internet, well, mainly internet, starting with internet. And then they go back and set up another company, invest in companies, or set up incubators. And
but can you compare the internet part just with the green tech part? That's so easy.
I think it just starts in the internet space. It will happen in any technology. The Charité is very strong here in Berlin, and I think it will happen also on the medical side, and then of course it will happen on the Cleantech side as well. And I'd like to make a statement. I think what we see, the dynamic we see here in Berlin, will lead to Berlin in 10 or 15 years being the Silicon Valley equivalent in Europe. And what we today say is still lacking is happening in Berlin, and it also happened in Munich. And Berlin will be very, very vibrant in terms of startup.
But again, is that comparable with the green tech scene, or do we have different rules in the green tech scene because we need more money and more support
A challenge in the green tech is you might need as much money with a software company as with a clean tech company. The challenge is that the money requirement is more front-loaded with green tech. You need more money initially, and then it's harder to get because you have less to show. With the software company, it's very easy to make sales, and then you need lots of money to scale internationally, and it's easier to get because you have something to show. That's a little bit a challenge, but then on the other hand, there is grant programs, especially in Germany, like in the medical field. We have companies that we see with like 500,000, they get 2 million grants on top of it. And there might be similar programs that apply to green tech companies you have to look for, and if they don't exist, we could ask them to be set up. But I think the difficulties that we have are no reason to be negative. I think they're reason to be positive and say, well, there's more potential, and we should move in that direction.
But maybe one difference between internet and green tech, most of internet, or lots of internet companies are financed privately, and quite a few green tech startups are financed with state-financed funds or so. And my question would be, do we always need the state to fund the green tech startup scene?
No, we don't need to. I think the government, in all its flavors, plays an important role filling the gap that there is. But there's also, and that's the cycle, there's also successful entrepreneurs that act as a business angel, provide seed financing, or a bunch of entrepreneurs, a group of angels forming super angel funds. And it just takes a while for them to come up, to be in the position to invest. I think the government is important, and I was not part of a government organization before I joined High-Tech Gründerfonds, and I think people in various departments are very knowledgeable and understand the issues and are working on these. So
do we need the state?
I wanted to go back to a different point.
Just this first, very quickly, and then let's
I think
get back
we do at the moment, yes, definitely.
Because we need so much money.
Well, our startups to grow, to start, to give the project teams a chance, they often use state money like the EXIST programs. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the chance really to lift off. But another point from the university side is that I think the professor from Dresden is a really good example. It's an entrepreneurial professor that does basic research. Those professors are rare. If we would have more of them, and we see it at TU as well, we have professors that spin out enterprises every year. And it's really depending on the entrepreneurial spirit of the professor if the basic research will be transferred into industry or into spin-offs. So I think we should really look at incentives, how we employ more entrepreneurial professors, that we open really this sector and let in also people from cooperatives that start as professors, and that we try to educate PhDs from the beginning in entrepreneurial skills.
That is your job then, Ingo. Max?
Yeah,
and one second, and if you have any questions, we after Max had his statement, we're going to open the round, so just wave your hand and you will get the microphone.
Yeah, I would like to second what you said regarding the ecosystem that needs to be created, and I think that's where the government comes in, not so much with money, but with actually enabling people to take the step to start a company. And I think there are several ways how that could be done. It could start in education early on, that you teach students about the excitement of starting something, doing classes. We heard somebody here on the panel before, their business plan, courses in schools. I think this is the way, you know, where the government could help. I think I also talked to a friend today who told me he wanted to start something, then his wife became pregnant and he decided against it, right? And he decided to stay in a company, which in a way is a shame because he would probably be a great founder of a company. And in a way, I think that's where the government can come in and take a little bit of that risk out and reach out to help people start companies.
Ingo, what would you tell his friend?
He's here.
Depends on the company where he's working and what his paycheck is. But therefore, I mean, it's a cultural thing which the government can take care of education, but cannot take away the risk. Besides, I mean, the initial seed funding. And a cultural thing, so it's education, it's not just courses of entrepreneurship, it's supporting, for example, what we do in Munich. We go to the research and the students and encourage them to think about how could they fund a company. And they have, some researchers have never thought about a product, not even a technology, but some algorithms. So bring them from algorithm via product, technology, product, market, and so forth. It's an educational thing, a cultural thing, which is that's what I said is a long-term process to get this into the masses.
Are there any questions? The light is really bright, so I can't see. Okay.
Can I add one more point, sorry?
Okay.
While there's no question, I was just wondering. You said the government cannot take away the risk. I wonder, today looking at the panel of people, where were the female entrepreneurs? Where are they? They're just not many here. And
we need a quota. Like in politics.
I don't think we need a quota. I just wonder, is that because women don't want to start companies, or is it because it's too hard for them because it doesn't fit into the lifestyle where we're in? And isn't that where the government could step in?
We funded an ETH Zurich spin-off more than 10 years ago. One of the founders was a lady. It was one of our most successful investments.
Well, it's because women don't study the technical courses, and then that's usually the basis. We have 4% women founders in our portfolio out of 600 founders, so it's a very representative figure for high-tech, and it's way too low.
The government last year did quite a big decision in Germany and started kind of a green wave, which is somehow everywhere in Europe now, at least in a discussion. So I wonder if it's easier today for green startups to get money, to get support, to find people and so on. Agnes?
I think the European Commission decided to launch those projects because it's not easy. And there is no real ecosystem around. This Ecosummit is a unique chance for people to meet, but there's not a lot of opportunities to meet in climate
I've heard that today
networks.
already. Yeah.
So I think there's lots to go. There's a long way to go. With the IT startup scene is very well connected and meets every week in Berlin.
I know, yeah.
But for the climate, it's really not there at the moment.
So we need something like Green Monday. Okay, yes?
Just to add on the ecosystem, and it's true with the internet in Berlin that we have a real community there. However, also in green tech, clean tech, for me, well, by the way, these names are more something in politics. We say resource efficiency as a VC. Need a business. The company needs to have a business case towards its customers. However, what I want to say is, especially in Germany with this green tech, we have a strong history of large companies. We have a strong history of industrial companies who take care for decades to improve the efficiency of their products. So there is the potential to create this kind of ecosystem also for clean tech in Germany. It takes time, more time, but the potential is there.
Do you think that the role of the rest of the economy is explored well enough to create this breeding ground for startups in Germany? Wouldn't there be opportunities for other companies to become enablers? For example, by allowing seasoned employees to take sabbaticals and support startups, or to take grey wolves, out of who are at the brink of retirement to go and partner with young founders of companies to move things forward, and so again, to create this microcosm that people are saying, okay, I'm taking this step, I decide against becoming the soldier of a large corporation, start my own thing, you know, with all the risks and all the joy attached to that, but with the help maybe of a larger corporation that then has a benefit of that as well.
Well, what we are doing at UnternehmerTUM, we are bringing researchers, students, politicians, and industry companies together. By the way, next week we have a big event of almost 1,000 people coming together, exactly this group of people. Yes, and we very much involve our industry partners in supporting students and entrepreneurs to in the very early stage already to define the businesses. So this is what we are trying, and it does work, and we are working on it to improve it. But you know, each company has a different approach, and I think that many large companies are cooperating with universities and are involved. And I think what the good sign is that many large companies are back. The corporate VC are back. They may fade away again in 5 years, as they always do. However, for the time being, they have learned that innovation cycles are so fast, and they want to get into this loop. So I think there is a process going on.
So now everybody wants to know who's going to win tonight, so we have to come to an end now, but not without one last question. And because Climate-KIC is kind of presenting this panel, my last question to you three guys is, what are your wishes to a good incubator network? Max.
And I have to start. I think a good incubator network is able to not, you know, stop at certain walls, but go beyond that and really reach out into all different directions. Be it, you know, society, industry, finance, research, all of the social actors and economic actors out there.
I think what's important with the network that the organizations within this network learn from each other, share exactly their approaches, so that you know, each island of incubation is complete in a way what the service offering is. However, that there is a linkage overall, so that it's not you know, it's not competition in a way.
Yeah, my wish is bring out as many startups as you can, as quickly as possible, and then very intelligently digest the feedback that you get from business angels, VCs, investors, and try to spin back that information in generating new startups. So don't make it an academic exercise. Be very pragmatic, very quickly pull in investors and show them startups.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening, and to all of you, lots of fun at the party tonight.